What is going on, my friends? Strawberry Coffee here, coming to you from Clovis, California. And today I'm gonna walk you through a brew on the Moka Pot. Now, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, people love this brewer. That's how my grandpappy used to make coffee for he'd haze a tenderfoot. Oh, buongiorno, principe, so we make a diesel back in a campo basso. If you're looking to get one of these, there are a lot of different companies that make them. They're really popular. Classic is Bialetti. Actually, when my wife and I were in Italy, we saw Bialetti stores all over the place. These guys are the pros. They also come in a lot of different sizes, so if you're gonna make a bigger brew for a group, or maybe just a little one for yourself. If you're new to the Moka Pot, here's how this thing works. In the bottom chamber, you put some water. In this little cap right here, you put the coffee grounds. Then you put the coffee grounds on top of the water. Then you take the top, screw it on. Then you set the whole thing on the stove. Now, the really important part about how this thing works is that this water heats up, which creates steam, forces itself up through the grounds. It's similar to how an espresso machine works, which is why a lot of people call this or refer to this as stovetop espresso. So again, steam pressure is the key to this brewer. It's how this whole thing works. And to get a little geeky for a minute, do a little science here. Actually, you know what? I'll explain it this way. Making stovetop espresso is kind of like a surgical glove. So to summarize, when you fill this chamber with pressure, that pressure has to go somewhere. And that somewhere is through the coffee grounds. All right, now I wanna show you a brew on the Moka Pot. And I'm actually gonna show it to you on this one. And it's made by a company called Gista. Now again, I think Bialetti makes the best quality Moka Pots out there, but this is also a really great brewer. And I like it specifically because you can see the coffee coming out. Watching coffee come out on a Moka Pot is the best. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is fill a kettle with water, just run it to boil. So to clarify on that, I'm pouring close to boiling water into this bottom chamber before we start. Technically, you can set it on the stove and allow it to get to boiling itself. This just hurries the process just a touch while I'm preparing the brew. For today's brew, I am using, that's right, strawberry coffee beans. I started roasting, this was actually my first roast right here, some El Salvador beans, got them from Sweet Maria's. I'm now roasting on the Baymore 1600 Plus. AB, stoked to finally get into that game, so I'll be brewing with my own roast today. And we're gonna measure out 22 grams of coffee here. For the Moka Pot, I like to run a medium grind, so I'm on the Barazza Vario here, and I'll be running a 4S setting, which is right in the center. Now that my water is close to boil, I'm gonna fill up this bottom chamber with water. And if you'll notice, every Moka Pot has a little gas valve here. And on the inside, it looks like that. And that's where your water level goes up to. You wanna go just underneath that. So if I'm weighing this out, this is 280 grams of water going in here. Now you gotta be careful once you stick hot water in here because this thing is a good conductor of heat. And we take the cap, stick it on top, then we're gonna pour the coffee grounds into the cap. Air press funnel right here. You can do a little bit of tapping like this, just don't push it down, don't pack it down tight. Then we take the top, we screw it on. What I recommend is holding a towel on the bottom section and screwing it on pretty tight. All right, now I'm gonna heat up the stovetop and we'll get this thing running. All right, now personally, I prefer fire on a stovetop to use with this, but this is all I got, electric stove. We're renting a home, so you gotta work with what you got. Put it on about a medium to high heat for this. Now we just wait for the magic to happen. All right, we're getting some movement. You ready for this? Here it goes. Look at this, look at this. It's so beautiful. Seriously, this is one of my favorite moments in coffee is watching this black gold fountain happening. You can see my espresso machine in the background right there. So technically this thing is ready to go now. Took it off the stove, set it here. Before you drink this, let it cool. This is extremely hot coming out of the Moka Pot. However, I wanted to show you one more tip, one more recommendation for the way I brew it. I know a lot of people love that this is like cowboy coffee or European stovetop espresso. It's kind of thick, it's got heavy body, heavy mouthfeel to it. I prefer heavy body and clean cup at the same time. So what I do is I take this and pour it through a filter. This here is the Alto Air. You don't need this one. You can use a Chemex, you can use a Wave, you can use a V60, a Phoenix 70, whatever it is that you got. I'm gonna be using a V60 filter. Chemex filter's fine as well, Wave filter's fine as well. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass this, we're gonna filter this heavy mouth-feel coffee, espresso almost, through a filter, and it's gonna clean it up just a little bit. So I got the V60 filter in. Like normal, I'm gonna wet the filter to get the paper taste off. Then what I'll do is pour this through this. And what you'll notice is that this is gonna clog the filter a little bit, which is fine. It's gonna take a while to process through it, but what you get down here at the end is so good. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. While this is filtering, I'm gonna take my Dragon glassware whiskey glass here. Always rinse out your glass before you use it. Last thing you want is to spend a whole bunch of time making an awesome coffee and then for it to taste like dust or like dishwasher soap. All right, so here we have it. Stovetop espresso filtered through the V60 filter. All right, friends, that's what I got for you today. If you're interested in any of the coffee gear that you saw in this video, check out the links below. And then if you like my channel, check out my other videos, share them with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. Grace and peace, friends.